Um, Vicky Bond, have you ever seen a flying saucer and or a ghost?
I think I have seen a ghost.
Do tell.
I think I have seen a ghost. I think I've seen a ghost twice, actually. I think I've seen two ghosts. Oh Lord, you do pull this stuff out of people.
I ask everybody. I promise I'm not signaling you out. I live a good ghost story.
Okay. Well, I don't know if this is a good one, but oh boy, the year is probably 1989. And do you remember Woolworth, like the old, super old drugstore? Even
Uh-huh.
when I was a kid, there were still like stools in the back with like a soda fountain. So that stuff was still intact, even though it wasn't in use anymore. So on a Sunday, like it was starting to get dark. It was like early, probably like early December. I went to Woolworths like to buy like wrapping paper or something with my mother. And when we left the store to get in the car that was parked in front of the store, under a streetlight, there was a woman with like really giant hair. And she was kind of like writhing back and forth to like maybe, I don't know if it was like headphones, but she was just kind of writhing back and forth. And I looked at her and it was just so strange. Then, so I was kind of scared of this woman, but not so scared that like I clung to my mother or even said anything about it. And then that night we went home and, I went to bed and then I got up and then like I don't know, and it was like the lights were still on. It wasn't like everyone wasn't asleep yet, right? And I got out of bed and in the hallway, the woman was standing there.
She followed you home from Woolworths.
No, well, in my mind, I don't, but it felt real. So I got back in the bed. I turned around, got back in the bed. And I think I've only ever told this to my husband. I was it a ghost? Was it a trick of the mind? Probably a trick of the mind, but it felt so real, And I think the other thing that made me think that maybe why the story comes to mind is that it never felt like my mother saw the woman. When we left Woolworths and got in the car, it was almost like I only saw her. That my mother, because my mother is kind of a mean-spirited, kind of chatty, gossipy observer, so she always has trash to talk about people and say this and that. Rah, rah, rah. So, but my mother didn't say anything. So, so that's one. The other one, I was on the subway. This was probably maybe like 2004, 2005. And you never know if like people are just rude and crazy or what. But there was this old man who was standing up in front of the doors. And I noticed him, and something about him made me feel a little sad. I think when you see an elderly person standing up and, you just are like, why are you standing up? There's seats. And I felt sad just looking at him. And then someone got on the train and kind of like bumped this man. And I said to the person, you just bumped him. And then the guy looked at me like I was crazy. And then when I looked back at this man, this old man who I thought who was standing, he was gone.
And he didn't follow you home, presumably because he
No.
appreciated you speaking up for him.
No, but the way that the man looked at me, he didn't, he was just like, are you like, what are you talking? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just seeing stuff. You're crazy. Like, I didn't, so then I was like, because it was his response to me calling him out wasn't, like, it wasn't like, don't tell me what to do. You can't, it wasn't aggressive. It was really like, what are you talking about? And then when I looked and the man was gone, it's like, so yeah, so that's it.
Does that lead you to question reality in other situations? Are there maybe people out there you've been seeing that the rest of us aren't seeing, you think?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Maybe about 4 or 5 o'clock tonight
Yeah.
when you're lying awake. This will
No, no,
another
I hope
terrible.
not. Oh gosh, no.
What a terrible thing to say to a guest. It's been so wonderful. Here's something to bother you later. I apologize. I withdraw it.